All right, so got all the parts laid out here for our Bronco hood strut install. This is a pack I picked up from Amazon. This is from Tubasa, and this is like 39 bucks on Amazon. Significantly cheaper than a bunch of the other solutions out there. And these are gonna work great. You'll see after we install them. All right, so the first thing we need to do once we get the hood up is we need to pull off the clips here in the hood. Super easy to do. They're just these little black clips like this. You just take your tool and pop them out. If you don't have a trim removal set, you can pick them up on Amazon for like 10 or 15 bucks, super cheap, really handy, really helps out when it comes into situations like this. So you see I just get my tool back here. You just pop it off and then it just pops out into your hand. You can leave them in here if you want. I tend to just pop them out into my hand because that way I know where they're at, because they will fall out. The reason why we're pulling this back is because we need to access this slot right here so we can install our washer on the back side. This one installs a little different than some of the other kits that are out there where you don't have to remove this. So like for example, the Redline kit comes with a ball, a washer, and then a blank tab that just kind of slides in here and then you pull it back. Kind of like a drywall anchor is how those work. This isn't quite as nice as that, but also this is 1/3 of the price of that, or half the price of that at the very least. I think theirs are $99.99. Some of them are like $129.99. So again, cost creates a little bit more work, but only a couple minutes. After watching my video, you should be able to pop this in pretty quickly. So again, we're gonna pull this back. We're gonna use the little tool that they give us, and I'll show you how to do that in just 1 second. In order to access this, I'm actually gonna grab a bungee cord and I'm gonna pull this back out of the way. You can pull this back however you want. You can, whatever you need to do to get that out of your way. So they give us this tool. It's a fish with a nut on the end, and this is to go behind this, but you need a washer so this doesn't pull through. So you can see here that it's slotted, and basically you just slide your washer in and line it up. Make sure that your nut's going to be able to pass through that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fish it through here up to this second hole up here at the top. I'm going to grab my other washer and my ball. You can see that I've got the blank flat against that, not the nut. So the nut's on the back side. And then there is my nut. I'm just gonna kind of pull back on it. Again, kind of like a drywall anchor, like a butterfly drywall anchor. You can see that that's tightened up pretty well. I'm just gonna tighten it up by hand for now. And I'm gonna line it up so that washer is completely covering the hole. And now I can just pull that out. And so our nut's on the back side. This tool is really, really great. Again, this is an additional step compared to some of the other hood strut solutions, but it's a piece of cake to do. And then we're gonna grab a 12 mil and I'm gonna tighten that up. Again, you don't need to over tighten these. Before we move on to the next step, to put our bracket here to attach the other strut, let's put our plastic tabs back in so we can put this piece back in. Super easy. Basically just put it into the hole, just push in, those little plastic grommets, good as new. So we need to get our 13 mil wrench back there. Got to be really careful back here. Actually, behind this bolt, there is the fender wall. So I'm just going to get this started. Then I'm going to see if I can reach back here and get it out with my hand, because I do not want to drop this bolt and have to remove the fender in order to pull it out. Whew. Sketch. All right, so we've got our bolt off. The next thing to do is grab our brackets. So we have 2 brackets. It's pretty clear which ones they are. In fact, you can't even put this on backwards if you tried, because the passenger side just wouldn't mount up. So this sits in like that, right? Again, we're going to put our bolt through. So I'm just going to start it by hand, get it aligned as much as I can. Then we're going to ratchet this thing back down. And I just want to reach down there, grab it, make sure it's sitting flat. Pretty much it should just slide like right into place where it's supposed to sit. All right, so we've got our bracket in place. And that's super tight. Tight as it needs to be. We've got our wiring out of the way there. Next thing for us to do is install these. So you can see that both ends where it attaches to the ball, you can actually spin these. So you can see that I can unscrew that, change the distance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by tightening them down all the way on both sides. And then once we attach this one here, we do need this to align facing this way. So there's 2 ways you can do that. Either you can unscrew this to do that, or you can turn the top and unscrew that just slightly. And I think that that's the better way to do it as opposed to this end, because this end is much sturdier and it kind of sits against this. So I think that'll be stronger over time. Move the hood strut out of the way. So we got that in place. All right, same thing that we did on the driver's side, we're going to do here on the passenger side. We're going to get up here and just kind of visually see where our tab is. Let's take this other one out. Don't mind the dust. We actually use our Bronco, get this thing dirty. There's that one. And just like the other side, I'm going to pull this back and get it out of my way so it's not bothering me when I need to fish this through. Pro tip, really good use of the trail sights. So just throw that bungee into here, hook it to your trail sight, get that thing out of your way. Okay, so just like the other side, we're going to put our washer in. We're going to push it down in there. And we're going to line up that hole. And then we're going to fish that through. We're going to get our bolt ready. Let's just fish that through. Remember, again, the nut tab is on the back side. So there's our nut. This one doesn't want to play ball as easily as the other side, and that's because we need to line up our washer a little bit better. So it looks like we got it lined up now. Let's give it another shot. Ooh, almost ripped it off. All right, so good lesson to learn here. This is just electrically taped on because the whole point is you rip this off once you install it. And because I messed with it more than once, I couldn't get leverage to get that thing going. This is a little flimsy now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop the tape. I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna re-tape it because I wanna make sure that that's secure when I'm holding it in here, because the last thing I wanna do is wanna lose this washer and this nut inside of my hood. That would suck. Let's try this again. Looks like we might be onto something here now. There we go. Again, we're just gonna hand tighten that up, and then we're gonna pull that fish out, which we did. So I'll be honest, this side was way harder than the other side, and it was due to the way that this fish works. So, you know, you're saving some money, but it's a little more aggravating than one of those that you don't have to fish through. You just put the drywall style anchors in. So good tip. If you don't want to mess with this for a couple minutes, this might not be the best purchase for you. Again, we're super honest around here. Learn from my mistakes. Overall, I'd probably do it again anyway because I think the end result's going to be really great. All right, so we have got the hood struts on. You can see here, got them attached there. The brackets to the back. Again, on the driver's side, same thing there. And as you can see, a lot more room in terms of how high the hood goes up now, which is great. That is, unless you're short. If you're short, you're gonna have a hard time. I'm 5'10", the top, so I can grab that though, and I can pull it down. And then we can shut our hood. So now we got our hood shut. Let's open it up real quick. And you can see how easy it pops up and articulates. That's fantastic. Really going to be nice airing up here with the ARB twin. Got my chuck right here, so I don't need a ton of room, but again, it's nice. This will also probably let a little bit more heat escape when doing that. And then if you ever need to get back in there to do wiring along the firewall, this is a really nice addition for 39 bucks. Super easy to install. Could have been easier. My guess is, after watching a bunch of install videos out there, that the higher priced kits are a little bit easier to install, just in regards to where and how you attach those there. So you don't have to take the hood liner off and you don't have to fish the washers behind. But if you want to save some money and spend a little bit more time, then you can do that. Now, I could pull the hood rod off entirely, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to leave it there for now. You know, these are Amazon hood struts, cheaper sets out there, and I want to make sure they're going to last. And just who the hell knows, you know? What if they explode on a windy day out in the middle of nowhere, and I need to prop my hood, and I don't have this thing? Now, it is a source of noise, but I think we could quiet that up just by tightening this down here, because that's where all the noise is coming from. So we could shove something in there, a little piece of rubber, a little piece of plastic under there to keep that from rattling around. Other than that, good install, decent product. Hope you like it. If you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe, drop me a comment in the bottom. Let me know like what hood struts you went with and why, or if you're thinking about hood struts, ask me any questions. I'm happy to answer. And hope you learned something from the video. And thanks so much for watching.